morning. Gus and I are on the North Fork of the Clearwater, about 30 miles outside of Elk City, and we're finally going to get a bucket list item off our list, and that is running the Magruder Corridor. Now, the Magruder Corridor sits in 3.5 million acres of wilderness, and there's only one road in and one road out, and that's the Magruder Corridor. So we're really looking forward to running it. We're going to spend 2 days. You can do it in one. It's 120 miles from one side of the other to the other. But we're going to spend 2 days just poking around and really relaxing and just trying to explore. So great night last night, about 8.5, 9 hours of riding to get here to start this adventure. So Magruder, here we come. We just left Elk City and we got some supplies, and now we're on the road. We're following the Red River up to the turnoff and the start of the Magruder Corridor. I gotta say, the ride from where we were on Highway 14 this morning all along the Clearwater up to Elk City was just amazing. It's just an unbelievably gorgeous ride. So for about, I think it's 60 miles from Grangeville all the way to Elk City. It's amazing. Probably one of the best rides that Gus and I've been on. Just a lot of deep canyons, a lot of twisties to ride, and just beautiful water all the way up to Elk City. This looks like it's the Red River game management area. So I can only imagine that come winter, there's a lot of elk just sitting in this big bowl up here. Well, we've been riding for about an hour, and we just came out of beautiful forest and into this big burn. And I think this is a lot of the Magruder with that big fire they had, I don't know, 10 years ago. Starting to come back, but it's going to take a while. Gus is wanting to find a place to pull over in the next 20 or 30 minutes, have a cup of coffee. It's a little chilly up here. We still got snow. Wow, climbing up the top of that ridge to this ridge. We went by Burnt, cut off for look out at Burnt Mountain, and it was closed with snow, and if we'd come a week earlier, we wouldn't have made it through. The place is totally snowed in. And on the way up, I almost dropped it big time. Hit a rut and just got it sideways and just got enough to get her back on the road and save a big wipeout. So, all right, here we go. We got a road. Ooh. Ooh. Well, this is interesting. What's that?
There's a Jeep and a...
Yeah, so
if I pull over here, can you get to that white spot?
yeah, I can. Yeah. Holy crap. Wow. Running into those guys, man, that was a tight one. I had like 6 inches to pass him or go down that cliff. Wow. That was amazing. And the road after that was just full of rocks and baby heads and loose gravel. Oh my goodness. It's amazing. Gus or I haven't dropped our bike yet on this trip. So yeah, can't wait to get into some better roads. Okay, Gus and I have been riding for probably about 4 hours. And the last hour has been a real workout coming up and down these roads. So you can see in the distance over there, the road we just came down. That's the road we got to go up to get to the other side so that we can find camp. So probably about another 45 minutes and we'll try and find camp. But amazing. The road was a lot harder than I thought. For somebody who's an expert rider on a big BMW, no problem. But Gus and I, we had to work at it to get down through all those boulders. So anyway, having a great time. It's beautiful back here, and yeah, just taking a break. It's the end of day one on the Magruder Corridor, and we found a campsite at Deep Creek, which is about 50 miles from Darby and about 70 from Elk City, so about halfway. And I gotta say, the first third of the trip, there's about 20 miles in there that are really difficult, steep, just 1,000, 2,000 foot, just vertical drops, and you're riding on just really, really questionable roads. We saw a lot of overlanders and four-wheel drives taking it, and they were nice and slow, but we got caught in a just head-on Jeep going down, Jeep coming up, and boy, Gus and I, it was a real nail biter. We just barely edged by them to keep going, because I'm sure one of those guys was going to have to back up, and I don't know where they would have turned around. But it's just been an amazing ride. Just the amazing amount of wilderness here, and you're just in the middle of nowhere, and it's unbelievably beautiful. If we had gotten here 1 week earlier, we couldn't have gotten through because of just all the snow that's still in the passes. So the Jeeps have been up on the high passes, and they were able to break the snow, and Gus and I were able to get through no problem. But a week ago, it was closed. I'm actually kind of surprised that there's not more traffic up here, given it's the 4th of July weekend. And I really got to think the only reason that there isn't is because of the snow in the pass. So we had a great dinner, setting up camp. Going to get an early start in the morning and finish the last 50 miles of the Magruder Corridor. Good morning. It's day 2 of the Magruder. Gus and I slept pretty good last night. Both we turned in fairly early and got up early. We've been on the road for, oh gosh, maybe 30 minutes, and we've got about 50 miles left to go. So it's day 2, and we can't wait to finish this thing. So the site of the Magruder Massacre in 1863. Wow, crazy. Somewhere on that ridge over there is where actually the massacre was. Darby, Montana. I've been here a couple times in the past, and this town is just amazing, really cute. But anyway, end of the Magruder Corridor, and you know, I've been thinking, couple takeaways. One, it's an amazing 112-mile run. You can do it in one day if you really work at it and you start early. The second half from Burnt Mountain, or the lookout at Burnt Knob, down through the Magruder crossings is a little difficult, but once you make it through that section, the rest of it's really easy to ride, and you know, it should be okay. The other thing is that Gus and I just hit the absolute perfect window. They Forest Service had not announced that was open, and so there were very few people back there, because as I said earlier, if you'd been there 2 weeks ago, you couldn't have run it because of the snow on the road. So we lucked out. Perfect, great weather. Didn't drop the bike, either one of us, so pretty successful trip. After I left Darby, Montana, Gus and I rolled into Lolo, where we got gas, groceries, and then headed down the Lolo Highway 12. And where the Lolo and the Clearwater meets the Selway coming out of the Bitterroot Mountains, we took a left, crossed a bridge, and then found a great campsite right on the water, about 15 miles upstream. And I got to say, there were a lot of families out there just floating the Selway, so it seems to be a pretty big hotspot. The other thing I'll say about Lolo yesterday was, even though it was the 4th of July weekend, there was hardly any traffic on the byway, so it made for a really enjoyable ride. It's just a gorgeous top 5 motorcycle ride in the Pacific Northwest. We got up this morning, broke camp, and rode into Lewiston, grabbed some more fuel, and then headed for the Grand Ronde. So that's heading south out of Lewiston, and came across a pretty famous spot, at least for me. 8.5 years ago, I got in a really bad motorcycle accident on that very road, and it was a boulder that had broken loose from the side of a cliff and took me out just rounding a curve. So I don't know what the odds are, but it's got to be a lot higher than being hit by lightning. So anyway, was able to kind of stop, put together a little video, which I'll post at the end of this episode. But from there, headed down to the bottom into Grand Ronde and had a burger and a cold beer, and then back up to La Grande. And from La Grande, we're sitting in the this national forest and just found a great campsite. So it's been a great couple, 2 or 3 days, putting everything together, just kind of an epic run. But tomorrow morning, up early, breaking camp, and heading home. So as always, I hope this finds everyone well, and we'll see you on the next adventure. Okay, I am back. This is about, I think about half mile down the road from where I got hit by a boulder and spent a bunch of time in the hospital. So Gus and I are on our ride going towards the Grand Ronde, and this is, I think, day 4 of going through the Magruder, Darby, down Lolo. So anyway, I'm back.
Like, come on, baby, light my fire.
You know this is going to be in the outtakes.